I was muted. Hi, welcome. Thank you for stopping by today. I hope you have a wonderful time. Eh, small announcement, if that makes sense. I don't know if it's a small or a huge at this point. Um, my exam is coming. Kind of want to focus that a lot, if you haven't noticed. So, you can expect a lot of late night study with me. I think. For this kind of study stream, I'm going to focus probably at least at least an hour only. And the reason why, because I have early classes for this semester, so which means that I really need to wake up quite early, which means I need to sleep quite early. So please be bad for it. So I got a big nap. It was wonderful. Great to know that. So yeah, for this particular two things actually, not particular. For this 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, probably half a month, I'll be focused more on the on studying. Here's the thing, right? I think as a student, study is your priority, and you should have done it. You should have focused with it. Okay, so I'm taking my responsibility as a student. Anyway, second thing that I kind of want to do is like chatting stream. I don't know if I wanted to do this. It's still in a thinking process. I felt like I don't really want to have it on public after the stream. If that makes sense. I don't know, just a thought for quite some time actually. Not sure if it's a good thing or not. Because I felt like in a lot of Chinese stream, I may not be talking a lot of things that I probably don't really shouldn't be on public at this point, but I really did. So may not regret my decision after it. So that was one of the things that I've been thinking about. Now, few things. Then I have another thing that I kind of want to talk. I talked about this with Toshin just now. It's still in a process of experimenting because I think it's quite tricky to do it on live. It's way trickier to do it on live more than to have it edited out in a video, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that was it. So I've been thinking, right, since I do nail art on stream, I want to have you guys to immerse more into the stream. That's called improvising. I've been thinking of doing something like this. So instead of you seeing me just drawing on to just doing it on a stand, what if I angle the camera a bit out? Not out, a bit in. Why do I arrange that? Arrange the camera that I have like a hand, a fake hand, and I can do it on the hand itself. So in your point of view, it's kind of like your point of view kind of angle. if that makes sense. Now, here's the thing, right? I feel like doing this, but absolutely going to dox myself. Yeah, you are getting your nails done kind of angle. I think that's kind of fun. Have you thought about that? No, I have problem with that. The technical problem with that. I'm fine of getting all the equipment of the nail part, but the technical part, like how do I show that angle out without exposing myself? I was like, let me think about it first. Because I was talking with Toshin before, like a few hours ago, and I was kind of wondering, how can I present this? I think it would be a fun content to have, you know? It's kind of like chatting stream. But have you been to nail salon? They were just chit chat with you. Yeah, I want that experience. Where I'm the one who talk. I think that was kind of fun. Okay. It's alright. I'll think about that. Oh, I think it's doable. I think it's possible. I just think it needs to have a lot of experimenting before actually do that. So the announcement would be I'm going to postpone the nail art as for quite some time. Until a good until I can figure out the part of it. Yeah, it is. It's been a while. There's a reason why I don't felt like doing it, because I felt like it could have been done better, if that makes sense. Second of all, they're just quite busy. Sometimes nail art usually takes a lot of practices, and I really couldn't have much time in practice, which like it or not, I personally didn't like it as well. So yeah, it's okay. I'm almost having a semester break, so during that time, expect more streams at random time with random topic. So yeah, okay, I've been chatting. Before this turns to a chatting stream, let's focus for like an hour, okay? An hour? Nah, I want to get the point. Let me see. I don't think it's going to be this difficult. Where's my see, there you go. So yeah, I hope that's helped with an update on the content that that you might want to see, you might want to know about. I don't think this will be out for the exam. I'm quite sure, because the exam is coming soon. So I really have no time to go in every single point and pinpoint and read through every single thing. I'm just going to be studying smart as always. If I study smart, I don't think that I'm studying smart at all. If I study smart, I probably won't be at here. Couples of what? Yeah, I doubt it. I just saw my good grades for some of them. Yeah, it was terrible. I was on the verge of not getting the result I want. So I'm kinda in a way a bit worried. Yeah. Oh, we did not post the schedule out on YouTube, isn't it? Hold on a bit. I scheduled myself to have 2 streams today, actually. So hi, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. No, I don't think that I need to blur this out because this is just my note. I wanted to get this note done before tomorrow. Because apparently class have like a revision week for some reason. I'm not sure why would you want to do a revision week. Hi, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, I attended both stream. I know, right? Mm. Hmm. And actually, I'm quite good with this fall. If you're thinking that my handwriting was messy, it is messy. Okay? Why? Because I'm not asking for a good, I'm not asking for a very beautiful note. I'm asking for something, I'm asking to somehow engrave into my mind currently. That's a two different thing. Can you actually read through my notes? Built differently. Not a human, so do the bit it's a bit different for me. Is there any background music that you can hear? Or is it too soft? Oh, that's music? Alright, thank you for letting me know. Oh, wait. There's something that I kind of want to ask before I give it before I go in again. Um, Dude, imagine one day though. Imagine one day an archaeologist must for some reason encounter your handwriting. They'll be like, according to old writing from the old language that we know of, this is a handwriting that we cannot understand at all. I'm guessing this is an alien language that we have no idea of. Have you thought about that? Can you just imagine that the the language, the alien writing that we thought of is mainly just someone really with really bad handwriting. Just a thought. So right. Um it's okay. I'll introduce that later. Not later, one day. I'm still thinking about that. This is just something. Because I'm still going to write this out for quite some time. Have you heard of muscle memory strategy before? So for this kind of professional terms where you really could not understand the meaning and you don't really know how to spell it, you write it for like hundreds of times and it became a muscle memory for this point. Sometimes I use that. I use that to pass my to get a good grade in law, by the way. Cause that dude, that particular module destroyed me. Society. Social reform. So this 4 is the philosophy that for some reason they decided to think that is a 4 different understanding, 4 different things on education. Mm, I don't think it was came out. I don't think that I will use this. Hi, thank you for coming. Hope you have a wonderful day. Excuse me. Philosophy was all about to be or not to be. We have a different kind of philosophy. Sometimes it's philosophy of science, sometimes it's philosophy of math. Every single subject have their own philosophy on things. Just like how literature have their own philosophy. Make sense? So I'm focusing on the philosophy of education. So what education believe on based on what philosophy? Sorry, let me rephrase. What philosophy educations believe in? Um, I feel like the one that I'm kind of scared of is the spelling of it. Because we kind of used to autocorrect. Spelling is not a really, really nice thing. Hi, welcome. You miss a stream. You miss a stream. It's okay. It's not that important as well. Also, hi, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Don't need to know about that. I just need to know what this thing. I was watching the. Ew. Not sure if it's a good thing to watch that, cause I was talking a lot about a very uneventful, not a good fun event that I have. Not uneventful. That's part of my job, isn't it? To entertain you guys. Have you thought about that? You know, that's part of the job. That's my responsibility as a VTuber. See, I'm a very responsible adult right now. Oh, what kind of handwriting was that? Patient. I don't know. I don't really agree with this, but okay. You were the one who came up with this theory. That was a short one. Oh, great to know. Great to know that. If someone will say, no, yes, so a job is a job. You need to have that as an adult. You guys, stream before I got it. How do you get a 45-second? I guess it depends. Imagine. I'm not going to read that out. Also, thank you for the subscribe. Though I've been absent for a week. Have you not crossed your mind that, I might just give up? No? Do if I have my credit card. Don't do that. Please don't. Credit card is something that you need to think before you make any kind of payment. I'm an early investor. If I cancel my subscription, my interest won't come. To be fair, I'll be very honest with you. I don't think this is a very good investment. I mean, job pays you, right? Then you have a lot of things that you need to think about. What if you decided to get a car? Then you have a loan that you need to pay. If you have a loan to pay, which means that cut off part of your, yeah, sure, of course, I think that's a bad thing that you do. Yeah, that requires like millions. Have you thought about that? I don't think it's possible to have a accurate track of that particular in this kind of instrument actually. It was require what? Wow, wow. I never get a payout, so can't say that. I never get a payout from here, so Zanen. I don't think I can say anything about that. Yeah. Because you need to reach a certain amount of income to able to get a payout from this platform, and I was not even there yet, so so I don't know. And also, I don't really needed that for now, so in a way, I don't have. Yeah, I know, right? Don't get a credit card just because credit card is something that you need to think about it first. There's a lot of benefit of having a credit card. There's a like cashback thing that you can get. Like really depends on the banks that you have. Some have just less benefit for you to have a credit card. And usually, if you want to get the benefit of that, you have to spend a certain amount of money in a certain amount of period. Usually, it's like a month or so. In a way, I think it's not needed. In a, I don't know. I don't really like to use credit card. I don't think it's. I personally really like to spend when I have the money instead of spend without knowing that if I have the money. If that makes sense for you. Yeah, I don't think that I'm eligible to get that. Or I think I have, but I don't think that I went through the process of it because it requires a lot. Who am I joking? I just saw that. I don't. Like sometimes they will just trick me saying that you are eligible to have a payout, and when I go through it and I saw through the amount, it was not even enough to get one. So yeah, can't do anything about that. I think they tricked me just to open that particular page just to check it out. Oh my god! See Fuyo, you are so worse. You are so bad at your job. There's one thing that I'm kind of scared. Lizard. You know. I'm really scared of it. I got one credit card that not credit card. I got one account from the bank, and I think it's kind of like a small investment account that you can. Usually they have like policy for you to choose. I choose the one that is have I think it's a life insurance policy. I got that just because I want to get the life insurance. I have trouble getting life insurance because I have a condition whereby they have problem, whereby I kind of lazy to go through the process of proving myself that I'm a normal human being apparently. So yes. And they gave me a credit card for it. It's like a whole package basically. Never used that before. See. So for those who really wanted to do VTuber, you will not get paid for quite some times. Just saying, it's not a very good job for you, and you shouldn't be having this as a long-term income for you. Think about that first. Don't use this as your full-time career, because here's the thing, right? If this doesn't work out, you will have trouble getting a job, because in this period, when you are doing your full-time career, which I still have no idea why, you have this gap between your studies and where you decided to find a job, or from your previous job to your next job. You have this gap, and absolutely the employer will ask you, what have you done for this 2 years of absolutely nothing? Like, you don't have anything, like you are not starting a business, like what are you doing? There's a reason why a lot of content creator having trouble to get into the job market a lot of time when they decided to quit the online thing, and yeah. It's just a hobby. It is a hobby. If you want to do it for fun, just do it for fun. Do not invest a lot in the here. I don't think I will use this. Hi, welcome. It's very hard to get a job after 30. It depends, I guess. Depends on what kind of job you want and what kind of experience you have. If you are telling me that for the past 10 years, after you graduate from your degree or college, or you probably never go to a college before, you straight into a job market, you straight having a job. And so for the whole time, for the past 10 years, you never get a promotions, you never think of, there's no much achievement for you in your career. Well, that's the why employer have problem hiring something like this, or it's not a good point for you. It's not. It is quite disadvantage for you. So it's not difficult to get a job after 30s. I know, like my employer prefers someone who's actually over 30. because it means quite stable. It refers stability in a person, and they hire them just to let them do the most basic thing according to their skill set, basically. I think some of them actually preferred it because there's a lot of turnover, like it or not. When you were younger, you were naive. Okay, you thought of like you could thought of going to somewhere new, challenge yourself. So usually you work on a place for like 2 to 3 years, then you kind of be like, I'm out. At least that's what happened in my workplace. So after a bit, my employer just said, let's just find someone who have the qualification. So have the highest qualifications. Basically, that's what they asked for. Have experience in a job. They can manage to do all the tasks that was needed. Because the department that I have was quite static. It was quite straightforward. You don't really need to acquire new skill kind of department. So for them, it's more like if you can able to get all the tasks done, or if you have experience in completing the similar task from your previous job, I'm hiring you. Finding a real job and being a vtuber in my free time is the something. Usually you don't really have the time to do that. If you want to find a job, and then yeah, sure, fine. But if you wanted to work and then have VTuber on site, I tried it. It was very difficult. You do know that I work while I was streaming. The only thing that wasn't good for me because my job was flexible. I think that's the advantages for me. If you have a job that requires 9 to 5 for 8 hours, by the time that you are done, by the time that you reach your place, when you have a dinner and you've done you probably don't really have the energy to yap at all. Oh my god, what kind of handwriting was that? But hey, since you say that you are doing for fun, doesn't really matter. Consistency is not something that you're looking for at here. So it's doable for a lot of people actually. Bagley. Actually, someone actually talked like that. I like this. Actually, I like this philosophy actually. Not much, but oh my god. Necessary. Sorry, onesie. Onesie. I don't know if you're wondering why it was handwritten notes instead of like typing out. My exam is handwritten, okay? There's no use of computer. There's no use of keyboard. I have to write it out. Remember the part that I said that muscle memory part? This is exactly why. Agree with that. Usually. Repetition. Oh my god. me go get something to drink. Practical. Survival skills, I think that's what we are referring to. Read, write, and why do I feel like the lizard is coming closer to my place? Like I'm telling you, I have nothing against you. Right now, I don't really have the energy to deal with you. So, Oh, my hand. Sorry, I'll come back to this next time. Usually next time's Monday going to be done. What's you? Okay, so this is the last two, I think. And if we are able to finish this by half an hour, I'll be very, very, very happy. I wonder actually how many school actually use this philosophy in their educational system. Highly doubt it. Hi, well, thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, I'm back. I want to get it done in half an hour. Yeah. Student center are really going to work in Indonesia context. Just saying. I agree with that. I agree most of the philosophy to an extent. I think we should not go into that extreme. You do you. I can do that. I can do it right now. Doesn't mean that I can do it on the exam. Facilitator. Facilitator. Just wondering if you have any experience in this kind of classroom whereby the teacher guides you instead of teach you a certain topic in high school. Kinda. Oh, you actually have that kind of experience. Like, what kind of subject was that though? Is it like a very science-based subject or something like a more theory-based subject? Which never mind then. Never mind then. I was wondering how can you put this kind of theory in a math class of high school? I don't know. This always happen in maybe in your primary school, your kindergarten, your early childhood center, or when you are in university. You actually couldn't really put it in the high school, middle school context, if you think about that. I must also encourage a student to do that way if it's easier for them. I went to a very strict curriculum school where there's nothing like this happen actually, so I can't really relate at all. Like imagine there's a math questions and the teacher was like, please pair up and solve this question. I don't think it works. So I guess it depends on the subject. I'm so sorry about that. Responsibility. No. I know this dude. I read about this dude. This dude is someone who is very democratic, who truly believe that a lot of that learnings happen when you're really interested in learning that particular topic. So in his thought, he thinks that students should learn through their. I have to do some of this when teaching law and politics. How was that? Yeah, coming back to your experiences and coming back to that memory. Oh my god, imagine that. Oh. I'm gonna write those. I think it's relevant. So in his mindset, he wanted a classroom that's full of open space, if that makes sense. Which I really think that is quite fun to have been in a classroom setting, that where students can sit however they think it is they would like to have. But again, I don't see how this works in a middle school system where it's going to be way heavier more stricter, and you have a national exam during this time. You have your um you have your probably you have your IB, you have your, what was that called? IGCSE, IGCSE, GCSE for those who are local. And yeah, exactly. They only work when they want to learn. Like, how do you ensure that what they learn is aligned with the national curriculum? I don't know. I'm quite sure like there's a lot of criticism for this one. But I also think that because of this particular theory, because of this particular philosophy, a lot of university or a lot of childhood learning center has changed to a more hands-on practical learning environment, which I think is kind of fun, which I think it's needed. Should have asked, should have put it at. So for him, he really likes to experiment. He wanted the educators to um, be more like a friend more than a leader. Yeah, exactly. See, I have a good experience. I have a good example. It won't work. I've been thinking about that for when I learned about this. I was like, there's no way it works in middle school at all. It works in the university setting mainly because you already acquired the knowledge that you need to go into to learn about this, to have a passions of what you want to learn, and usually that happens in university. Just a thought. I personally don't really I personally don't really want this to be. I personally don't think this is the right way of teaching something. If you go based on this philosophy itself, I don't think it. I don't think it's right. What was my A funny thing though, I have a group assignments like based on this. You have to choose which out of four, which philosophy resonates to you the most. Mine is not this, by the way. I agree with this, but I kind of want to do a balance between this one and the previous one. But none of my group members like it. They want to focus on one, which is really, honestly, kind of boring. The whole point of being in a university is to learn. Is to challenge the theory. You know what? This will work in middle school. Have you? I don't know if you have in your curriculum. There's a thing called social science. it works. I think you can put this in there. Because when I was doing social science, the assignment that I got is to find out a topic that you are interested in and present the details on that. Present what you think about it, what the social, what kind of impact they have in the society. That kind of very practical, real life situations. But other than that, I don't think it works. School is a place to explore. I challenge that. I don't think it is. And reflect. I agree with the reflect part. I absolutely agree with that. The students are allowed to choose a subject they like and generally want to study. This can work. Yeah, agree. Like maybe not the core subject, if that makes sense. Maybe just a random, not a compulsory subject, and whereby the homework is something that's lined with because in a way it is something that because in a way it is something that you already choose it because you are interested in that. It's not a compulsory. It works in middle school. Yeah. So here's the thing, right? This won't work in a lot of Asia curriculum education system, whereby you have a national exam that's a strict or subject that you need to complete in order to get that certificate. From what I know, from program like international school usually use, which is IGCSE, the Cambridge program, they allow students to choose their subject. Do you see why it works in that? Because you only choose the subject that you are interested in learning. Then it aligns with this philosophy. They could have done their assessment can be much more practical, can be much more than what it is. As always, IGCSE usually works on IGCSE only focus on the end result, that one final exam. It works for this. It works on this kind of school. It works of this kind of school using this curriculum. Other than that, I don't see. Now, I personally don't think it's I personally also want to check. I personally also don't really like what IGCSE doing. I think personally, I just think of I think a lot of times students in teenage students don't understand what they want. They might just choose the subject first because it's easy to pass. It's easy to get an A. Second, it might be something they are interested in or not. Or it's something that they need to get it just for them to get into an advanced level, which is what happened with IGCSE, A levels, or other college programs. that you offer. So what happens with that? What happens with something like this? It's just meant that students who choose the subject because they need to might not enjoy the assessment being done in that particular subject. Best I can do is have a student try logic crime and make a mock trial using the law and help them understand the law and why it was right that way. I agree with that. I actually like that. Do you know I have a law module before? It was, wait, let me rephrase. I've had 2 law subject before. It was I enjoy every single one of it actually. I just don't like to write about that. hated the exam of it. So my lecturer was not that fun. You know, they just gave us tons of things to read about. then that's the exam coming in. That's how law works, right? It's hi, thank you for joining today. If you want to be quiet, just mute my stream. Yeah, my lecturer was not that fun to have that, but I'm glad they able to make the whole class enjoyable, if that makes sense. I don't know. I felt like the class was enjoyable because I like listening to story. I like listening to cases, and they use a lot of example of different cases and how it went through and what happened. And I appreciate that they took the time to talk a lot of details in there. It kind of makes you understand how the law applies, how that particular sections apply to this law instead of to this case, and instead of saying that okay, so for these sections, this is the example that you need to do. This is usually the example case that you were going to refer to for your case study, etc. So yeah. But again, I feel like my module was quite simple. It was not that difficult. It was not that hard at all. Usually does not works with politics. So yeah. Child center apparently was that. What the teacher wants to teach the child. I agree with the thinking critically thing is needed. Agree with that. See, when I say that, I need to balance. I mean, everything needs to have a balance. That's what I mean. I try to help. I'm sorry. I try to help the. What is that? Try to help the children understand the language of law change, and if they don't know how to understand and how to read them, they can read them their own when they need later in life. I agree with that. I think that's a quite useful thing. A lot of children don't really understand how law works until it was too late. Oh my god, let's be. Last philosophy. And we are done with today. Wait, it's actually quicker than what I thought. Okay, next time, tomorrow I'm gonna do more. I agree with learning law in middle school. Yeah. Like not going to be in depth like in a university or in a college setting, but a basic of learning how to protect yourself, what kind of law to protect yourself. I think that was very useful, especially for those who can't voice out. I think that's very useful though. I personally kind of wish I know this when I was in middle school, instead of when I start working and there's suddenly there's something wrong with my employment, and then I have to go through the contract law and whatnot. Something like that works. Something like that helps. In a way, knowing where to get help is very important in teenage, because this is the age that you are rebellious, you are a rebel, you wanted to change everything. You don't really want to communicate with those that probably trust you or those have really care for you, and I'm absolutely fine with it. But I think the school should have a place for them to learn about where they can get help if they need it. Not just like how to understand law itself, but to also know those organizations that they need they need to get help. I think this is very, very rare. We don't actually talk about this in Asia. And learning environment, it was kind of like a kind of for some reason was not a topic that you can talk about that freely. No idea why. But yeah. Theodore, Theodore. Now I know how to pronounce your name. I also don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm just going to know how to write your name. Because here's the thing, right? I've been asking someone who was in middle school if they know how to contact NGOs for abuse cases. Their answer are no. And I think it was very bad because it happens in home. It happens in their house, and it takes there's no way for this child to say anything, because in a main normal classroom itself, the teacher was taking care of like 40 students in a class. This school is kind of they just don't trust anyone. I think school could have done much more. Anyway, it's not really my concern of that. My concern is to pass the exam. Thank you. Young pioneers somehow take care of that. I know. Constructionism. This particular philosophy, from what I know, is kind of like the previous one, but they emphasize on social reform. I think they want to tackle real life situation, real life world problem. If you remember the last philosophy, sorry, I was talking about myself. That's how I study. Okay. If you're talking about, so from the previous philosophy, they focus on what the students want to learn, not necessarily the world problem, not necessarily something that the world issue right now. Whereas this focus a lot on social, not the focus on a lot of society problem. Yes, thank you. See, I studied, just not that formal. Educations in my country offers almost no psychological support. I know, right? It's kind of pity. I'll be very honest, it's very, very pity. Because we needed that a lot of time. And usually those support happens during when you are in university. Not even your workplace. In university. And do you know how many people don't go into university? Or even college by itself? Usually even college doesn't really have this kind of support at all. We should have talked more about this, but for some reason they don't. to bring what social change? Oh, last point. Hello. Hello. Last point. Last point. Last point. So school as a powerful place. I don't know about this particular philosophy that much. I don't know if I wanted to agree. I don't know if I agree this actually. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I don't think kids should I don't think kids right now I don't think kids have a need to carry the burden of the social problem that the past few generations have did. The social problem happens because the old generations, not the young one. Just a thought. And how can we, as someone who is older than them, ask the kids to solve all this problem? All right, I believe in you. You can do that. I don't think it's fair. Uh, should So again, I think we need to balance everything out. Encourage. Controversial. Again, that's why I think we have social science classes. No, I'm not sure if you have that. I have that. I enjoyed it a lot, by the way. I think my topic was quite controversial as well, because our group topic was asking them asking the class the opinions on same-sex marriage. I think that was the topic that I've done. You cannot imagine the answer that the classmate gave. It opens my eyes a lot. I think some of them did topics like very interesting though. Like should because you have the maternity leave for female for mothers, right? They were asking the questions of if um if the father should have given a leave as well. Because I think back then the whole thing was not even being talked about until recent years. Yeah, can yeah. This helps student. I think the only good takeaway for this two, not this two, actually, there's a lot. The similarity for this two is that they want to emphasize on practicality. They want to emphasize that this is what the education right now should have done, should have learned, and I agree with that. But I honestly agree with it because I'm quite sure during that time, which is quite old, this 2% is quite old. An education's reform probably is needed for the society back then. And humans is adaptable. We learn it and adapt according to what we think is needed right now. That's the whole point of philosophy. Oh, that's a good conclusion right there for you. Doobie, doobie. What is a classroom that is not democratic? The traditional classroom? Maybe. just an equitable way. And funny, interesting that nobody wants to talk about democratic workplace. Really? I don't know about that. I think it depends on what place that you have. I think mine is pretty democratic actually. But again, depends on the industry and the environment that you have. Okay. Community. And I also think it depends on your manager or your employer. My employer sometimes relies a lot on the employees. So democratics happen at that. It's more like a group teamwork instead of I ask you to do this, you have to do this one. No, sometimes they relies on a more professional perspective in the environment. Well, not in the environment, in the task itself. So yes, so it really do depends on the industry that you have or the workplace that you got into. And also think it's just a different leadership style, you know. People just lead differently. I agree with this one a lot. In a university setting, not really in a middle school. As always, I don't understand this. Wait, am I done? No. Let me see. No, I'm done. Oh my god, I'm done for this chapter. Three chapter. This whole thing. This whole thing. is this 4 thing. I feel like I need to add more into that, more in depth, but it's late. I cannot continue with this. I have an early morning. I'm just going to continue that tomorrow morning. I think. For now, that's late. I cannot. Who am I joking? Do you know that I just drank like coffee like 2 hours ago? That's the leftover coffee that I have for like from the afternoon. You heard nothing, alright? Okay, I'm gonna end my stream here. It's getting late for me. So as always, thank you for coming. Thank you for stopping by today. I hope you have a wonderful time. I said it's going to be a silent stream, right? It was not, isn't it? Well, it is what it is. Kind of expected. Hi, so yeah. Thank you for coming, and please, as always, give me a close writing notes right during. I'm not sure about that. Please stay safe, and I'll see you when you decide to drop by my stream again. Alright, thank you. Bye bye.